Welcome to the Seed Pod where we discuss business brilliance, entrepreneurship, and how to build a brand. My name is Brian Ruko, and we are having our recording session at Alphanex Podcast Studio, the Seed Pod, where we discuss business brilliance, entrepreneurship, and mindset of a business owner. Today is an amazing set because I have a young dad on set and a founder of one of the most known, if not so well known, photography studios in West Kenya. He is also the brain behind a motors group and a sales group that deals with vehicles and SUVs. He is also a dad and a husband. So guys, this is very interesting because we are yet to talk about his brilliance behind business and how he is able to manage two brands at a go. Welcome to the set, and I introduce to you one of my good friends. He's called Wickey, and so many people know him as Wickey Bleeze. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
How are you doing?
I like the intro. It was really nice. I didn't know you were talking about me. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Welcome to the Seed Pod.
It's a nice set, beautiful place. I love it. And the energy is also okay.
The energy is also okay.
Yeah, the energy is fine.
It's a very hot seat sometimes. So I hope you will understand and be with us. I gave you a call and I asked you to join me today on this particular set.
Yes, sir.
Because I have had a lot of interest in what you do and how you do your business. You are known for photography.
Yes, sir.
And now, of recent time or a couple of months now, people have also seen you mutate into a vehicle seller.
Yes.
You deal with motor vehicles and SUVs. I am really interested in knowing, first of all, who Wickey Bleeze is. Who is Wickey? And is Bleeze your name?
Okay, my real name is Wickey Achwanya. Bleeze came about when I was doing music back then in high school. So Bleeze is just another name for happiness or just being blissful. So I used to create a lot of happiness around my peers in high school. So that's when the name came. And Wickey is just short name for Wycliffe.
Oh, Wickey is the short form for Wycliffe.
So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a founder. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. That's
interesting.
Yes.
You did a very majestic, big-time wedding. Was it last year?
It was this year. It was the beginning of the year.
Was it beginning of the year?
In January, yes.
In January.
Yes.
You were able to do a wedding in January. Now, Vile January is Msoto month.
So it's obvious, not necessarily, it's obvious because in my business, in the photography business, we are usually really busy and booked during the December holiday. So it's either you do the job or you don't do the job. So we had bookings all over till the 1st and 2nd of January. So that's a high season for us. We couldn't risk doing the wedding around that time because we'll lose a lot of money. So as an entrepreneur, you arrange your things in the low season.
Oh, now that's why you targeted January.
Yes, you plan your things around the low season. Then in the low season, as an entrepreneur, the tents are affordable. The catering is affordable. The sound is affordable. Car hire is affordable. In January, everything is affordable. So you'll do like a very majestic thing with a very low budget. So it's just an entrepreneur mindset.
I thought it's and also friends are few because at that time people are now thinking of back to school.
I didn't think of that, but it worked.
Friends are also few, so the budget is low.
The budget is low.
Tell me about your wedding. How was it?
Okay, I did the traditional one, and I also did the civil wedding, official wedding. So the traditional one is where we just take the cows, you have a get together, you give some cash. It was simple and interesting. My wife, we had stayed together, come we stay marriage for around 5 years, and I just thought it's about time
to officiate
back,
it.
to officiate and give back, because she has been with me from my early days, when I had like close to nothing. And when I had something, I just said, it's now time. There's no need. I have no other mindset of getting another person. We already have 2 kids. Let's just sell it and go. Yes.
So you say she has been with you from when you had nothing.
Yes.
It means you had completely nothing. What do you mean by nothing?
I had, when I mean nothing, I don't mean assets or business or it's just like having nothing in terms of understanding of the world. Because when you are young, back then I was around 23, 24 years. When you are young, you have a lesser understanding about the world and how it operates, about business. Because when I started my business, it was purely accidental. It was just a passion of mine to just take photos, to take videos. I was doing it for the love. Then I realized later on, I can make money of it.
Okay.
Yes, so that's it. But when she came in, she was working with the brands as a BA, and she had known so much about business.
Okay.
So when we came together, my business skyrocketed. That's all.
So you had just started. That's where you got the passion to start the photography. That's why you had developed the love for photography. But hapo kitambo, you said you are an artist.
Yes, I was an artist.
By then, had you guys met? And
no, not really. We had not met. Back then, I was an artist. When you're a young person, and first of all, I didn't get an opportunity to go to a university.
Okay.
Or a college.
Okay.
So when you finish Form 4, then you don't get that opportunity. You feel like the fear of missing out. You're not, niko KU, niko Nairobi University, and you're just at home. So we feel really bad. But when there are obviously some other people that you share, that not everyone goes to the college or universities. So within that group, we just started singing, doing sort of things, going to poetic hour, just trying basically those things that you can try.
Art.
Yes, you can just, art. You can try art. But when I was singing, people were like, unajua kuimba. Then when I touched a camera, they were like, hey, unajua kufanya video. The feedback was like better. Then I just knew at the back of my mind, I'm good in videography or photography more than singing.
Okay.
So like when I tell you my business is purely accidental, I had never planned to be here, but I listen to people. When somebody says, hey, unajua kuimba, ngoma poa, lakini jaribu uimbe hivi. But when I was doing the videography, they were like, hey, bana, this is nice. Bana, we unafo shoot videos octopizo. This is good. Just after a better camera. So the feedback was nice. So I just listened to people. Basically, I've been listening to people, like the feedback, listening to what people say about your brand and try to implement it little by little.
Ah, great. Yes. Sometimes listening to people also can come with some disadvantages because they may overhype you just by virtue that they don't want to tell you the truth. Some are not genuine also with their feedback. They may tell you it is bad and yet it is good.
Yes.
How did listening to people make you now formulate and gather together to build a brilliance behind the business that you're having?
Okay. No, some people, they don't really advise you. But when they're saying that sentence, you pick a few things from the sentence. Some people, when you listen keenly to what they're saying, you just pick. They're not really advising you, but you just pick. Yes, it's just like having a girlfriend. Then your friends are like, hey, Brian, na huyu wako na si ule kuosha vyombo. Huyu anachulia tu. So you just, they've really realized that this one is a lazy girl. Yes, people will always tell you things in code. So
Yeah.
I listen to that code, interpret it, and implement it.
Ah, great.
Yes.
Great. How is business for you so far?
Business is good, very good. I've been able to do so much through my business. I can't say, obviously there are some seasons, but I've understood my business. I know the low season, the high season, the low day, the highest day, just understanding the business. So I can say it's good now, and I've perfected my entrepreneurship in my business.
Or you have perfected your entrepreneurship in your business.
Yes.
How have you been able to achieve that? Because, new buys in entrepreneurship are encouraged to perfect as they go.
Yes.
A lot of people want to start businesses, but when they start, then before even they start, actually, they take time to perfect at the background first. That, I want to have a big an office first. I want to have a car or a mode of transport. I want to have staff.
Yes.
Is that how you started Chanuka photography?
Okay, that's the main problem people have. There are two main things you need for you to be successful in business.
Yeah.
Number one is the skill set and the business skill. Most people have the skill set. For instance, you can be very good at making clothes, knowing which is the best designer clothes you can make, good for runway, but you are not a good business person. You don't know how to sell that cloth, how to advertise that cloth. You must have those two. If you could not have those two, you employ somebody or introduce a partner that is good at selling. So many people, when enter into photography, so many people are very good at taking photos. I admit I'm not the best photographer. My studio is not the best studio in terms of quality. It's not the best in terms of the best. But what we have, we are the best in the business. There's so many big things that we use, but the difference between those brands is the best in marketing, not the best in the product. Yes, big brands like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they're not like the best, but they are good at marketing and advertising the product. So sometimes we confuse that. So if you don't have the skill set and understanding the business, someone can just come, hey, I have a loan of 200,000. I want to start a business of selling shoes. Do you have the skill set of getting the best shoes? Do you understand shoes? Do you know which location can sell shoes? Do you want to sell kids' shoes, women's shoes, or men's shoes? Which is the best location? How do you want to advertise it? It's not, most people think that if you give them money, they can start a business and be very successful. And when you go to the bank asks you, what is your statement? Your statement is basically, they're trying to say, what have you done before that can really tell us you are very good in business? And they deny you that loan because you don't have proof that you are good in this business. So that is the problem. People assume, enda nichukue loan, mimi mtaki nipea 1 million, bana nitakuwa mnoma sana. People take loans and cry. Someone can just come and take a loan. Studio ni ulianza studio na how much? I didn't have money to start my studio. I just had a camera and one light. Then after some time I realized I need a tripod. Then I bought the tripod. After some time I realized I need a lens. I bought the lens. Over the years, after 3-4 years, I accumulated a lot. So I have several cameras, several lenses, several lights. Then after some time, but then I started my studio in the house, in Mamboleo, in my bed sitter. Then people were like, Mamboleo is a bit far. When you're in Kisumu, Mamboleo is a bit far from the CBD. Then I relocated to Kawash. But the place I was in Kawash, it was like a plot. There's this noise. You cannot record something like a podcast. There was just a lot of noise. It was not clean. It was not presentable. So the high value clients are not comfortable to come in your household. Then I relocated to another bigger house, but it was like the 5th floor. Then I got a very good client. They had a funeral and they wanted me to cover a funeral. So when the client came for us to discuss in the office, the client came with the car, but she was using a wheelchair. And my office is on the 5th floor.
Yeah.
Then I realized, wow.
There's a challenge.
There's a challenge. There's no inclusivity in my business. Then I realized I need to go to a plaza or a place, because most plazas have a ramp, etc, just a few stairs. So that's how I went to Kondele. There are things that you must do when you're starting a business, and most people that start businesses are afraid of it. Number one, you must know how to pay rent for your business. People are afraid. People want to do things shoddy, because these plazas, you have to pay 6 months up front. It is very hard. But those are things I took risks. Another thing is license. People don't want to pay license or to register their business. They're just skipping. But you see, license is around 10,000 shillings. And you're secured for almost the whole year. You must project that you're going to make that money much more. Another thing, just to identify and pay tax. So you think tax is expensive, so you're evading tax instead of going to a good building and you're making less. So when I brought that, when I started my business in a location, okay, there's a reason why I chose Kondele. Kondele is one of the most central place. When you're coming from Kibos, Kondele to town. Lolwe, Kondele to town. Mamboleo Riat, Kondele to town. Yes. When you're coming from Nyalenda, those other places, it's the most central place. That's why if you're in Kisumu, you realize Kondele is really booming with business. That's why I chose Kondele, and it worked for me.
Interesting. One thing I've learned about brilliance in business is that you could be a very good founder of a business brand.
Yes.
But you are not the best when it comes to management. You can be very good at management and being the CEO of the brand, but having the concept and the attributes that come with a founder is a challenge. So bonding the two, when you can be able to bond the two at an early stage of your startup, then it gives you an advantage. Because now you get to understand the wiring of the business. Okay? You having started Chanuka studios from scratch and with just one camera and a tripod.
Yes.
How was it in terms of management and you being able to manage that entire brand, being the founder, running again to being the person to talk to the clients, being the receptionist, being the cleaner, social media influencer for the entire brand.
Yes.
How was this in terms of the challenges that you overcame, and how did you overcome these challenges?
Okay, it's very hard. It's very hard to start. But when you have a few friends that really believe in you, they can take some tasks, and when you get something, you reward them. Like you can tell someone, okay, nataka wewe ukuna una share post moja hapa kwa Facebook hapa na hapa na hapa na hapa. Client akikuja, I'll give you something small, because when you're starting a business, there's no like a budget for marketing. So you have people that believe in you, and they're sitting at home. You include them in your journey, then you reward them like with the lunch or just something small. So that's how I started. Then one big challenge that every entrepreneur has, and I had it, is separating your money from the business money. Like you can go like for what I used to take like 3,000 for a baby shower photography. Then I've used like 200 bob for motorbike from my place to the job. I have like 2,800. I used to assume that is the profit that I had made, and eat all that money and wait for the next gig. Then I realized I have to save for a new lens. I have to save for a new camera. There's electricity bill. I have to upgrade my laptop. I had to do those things. Those, how do you call them? Negligible expenses. Like electricity bill. We don't like really have them in sight when you are doing business for the first time.
Yes.
So that's one big challenge. Separating your money from... It really took me time, like 3 years, for me to have like a separate bank account for the business and an account for me. That's one of the biggest challenges.
The most interesting bit is that in entrepreneurship, you pay yourself last.
Yes.
And in business, you pay yourself last. So that's why business owners, sometimes when people see business owners and they imagine, this guy did a gig, or they managed to do this kind of work, if this is what they're doing behind the brand, they have so much money. But people fail to also realize that it's not my money, it's the business's money. And at the end of the day, I am paid last. So entrepreneurs are very sensitive people because they are not greedy people.
Yes.
They will ensure that everybody gets their cut. Then is when they get paid last. So with that one in mind, how have you been able to consistently grow the Chanuka studio brand?
Okay, I think that goes back to a good entrepreneurs. It starts from your home. You'll find when somebody, we call it the art of kujinyima, the art of denying yourself the best life or the best things. You have to know, do I really need this item or do I want it? Do I really need this, let me say, this watch?
Mm-hmm.
If there's a watch that costs 4,000 Kenyan shillings,
Mm-hmm.
then there's a watch that costs 300 or 1,000 shillings.
Mm-hmm.
What is the essence of buying that watch?
Mm-hmm.
Another good example is you are an entrepreneur. You've started making some little money. You want to buy a phone, and you want to buy an iPhone for around 100,000 Kenyan shillings. Then you also want to use the business money to buy that iPhone. Then you realize, you ask yourself a question: do I really need the phone, or do I want the phone? There's a difference between need and want. So when you need the phone, what do you want to do? I want to use Facebook, Instagram. I want to take photos of these shoes that I'm selling.
Yeah.
Can a 20,000 Android do? Yes.
Yeah.
So why do I need the 100,000? So I'm not ready to purchase it. So that's what I do. I deny myself. Then you focus on giving back the business, upgrading some things, like you do some good painting, you renovate seats, you introduce some things that you don't have, efficiency, you upgrade your computers, so that when that money comes, it flows. It's better you earn 300 shillings daily for a long period of time than 10,000 today, then the whole month you don't have money, then another 10,000 the next month. So there's beauty in cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's
Interesting. And how old is Chanuka Studios now?
Okay, I started photography in 2013
Mm-hmm.
as a person. I used to call it Wickey Bleeze impression.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, first of all, I like experimenting and trying lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
With entrepreneurship, you can try so many things for one thing to work.
Yeah.
So I started producing music. It didn't work. I loved recording videos.
Mm-hmm.
Music videos. I'm recording these music videos, very nice, neat, but the money was not there. Then I realized, when I have a camera, instead of taking videos, people were like, unaweza nipiga picha?
Yeah.
Then when I started taking photos, I realized the photography money is 200, 300, but daily. At the end of the month, I have like 20,000, 15,000 back then. I realized this photography, as much as it's paying little, but collectively, there's cash flow. Mm-hmm. Then I'll get like one video the whole month. Mm-hmm. Then I started taking photos. I don't like taking photos until today. Mm-hmm. I always tell people, and people are surprised, how do you have a studio? I know how to take good photos, but I don't like the art of taking photos. It's not my thing. I like taking videos, but this is what pays. So I had to focus and make it better.
On what pays?
Yes. Sometimes so many people are stuck in passion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so many people are stuck in passion. I have like zero interest in cars, but I started a business around cars because I realized there's the need for young people to own cars, but it's very expensive. What if you go and look for affordable cars, you buy them, or you connect the buyer to the seller. Instead of budgeting 1 million, with 300,000, 400,000, 500K, you can get a good car. So I have no interest in cars, but I can just learn a few things about cars and do that business. So many people, so many entrepreneurs succumb because they like that passion. Like, I'm a very good videographer. I'm not going to take 10,000. I'm going to take 50,000. If they cannot pay me, they go to somewhere else. Then when you come to me, I'm like, okay, what is your budget? 10,000. Okay. With 10,000, you can do this. Yes. Then I have someone. He goes and he goes to do the job. We make that money. We earn a little, even if it's 3,000 shillings. But if you have those clients, like 10 of them, you've already created 30,000 shillings.
So that means at the end of the day, sometimes with what you're doing and how you're doing it, you do not have strict rates, because there is this narrative that entrepreneurs have of asking clients, what is your budget, so that they can know mahali pa kufinya, mahali pa kulegeza, and at the end of the day gives them an opportunity to earn. But at the same time, they are that particular question of a price over value is something that a lot of entrepreneurs do not understand, because from how I've learned it is that in every engagement that I have with every client in my brand, it's a discussion of value, not price for me. Okay. Because value is more important to us. What value are we bringing with the cost that we are giving you? Because if the client said, okay, the cost of doing that particular task is 30,000, like you say.
Yeah.
But they tell you, then you ask them, what is your budget?
Yes.
Then they tell you, my budget is 3,000. You see? Then it fixes you to have a conversation of price with the client instead of value that you're bringing on board. So it is more interesting if entrepreneurs can be able to appreciate that when you discuss a value with the client and they understand the kind of value you're bringing on board, then price shouldn't be an issue. Because if they told you, okay, I have 3,000, then now you'll tell them, okay, with 3,000, that's your budget. Yes, but with 3,000, then we are able to only do A. Okay? Then that one leaves room for them to entangle you in a negative way at later stages of your work relationship. Because now, I wanted this, but now it's not like I wanted it. Is it because
so much back and forth?
Yes. So when they understand the value that you're bringing on board, then it is easy for you to engage with them as an entrepreneur. And which now brings me to a very interesting bit that I wanted to understand from you as part of building your business brilliance behind Chanuka Studios, which is more like a premium photo studio. Yes. You brought in the concept of expectant mothers. Yes. And you delved into the service provision and photography of taking pictures specifically of young children, infants, and their mothers. Yes. What made you go that direction?
Okay, as a dad, when you have children, you just study. There are some things you study about children and expectant mothers. Number one, as an expectant mother cannot wait for too long to get service. That's why maybe they'll be excused in supermarkets while voting. They cannot wait too long because they are impatient and also in their condition. Number two, an expectant mother is same like a small kid. They're very impatient. They're always angry. They start to cry. So what I thought of is to create an environment that accommodates their situation. A place where they can come and chill and relax. They can have some cold water or juice as they wait for their service. You can handle them alone, because most young expectant mothers are not comfortable when they come somewhere there's like 50 people seeing that they are pregnant. and they want to just enclose it within themselves and their family. So they want someone somewhere private. That is when I had that idea to create a branch as a exclusive place so that they can come. But then with my baby studio, children are very, like, when a child comes into this studio, they really like it because of the colors and the patterns. But the normal studio is just like one gray wall or one blue wall.
Yeah.
So I introduced a studio where there are those photos of Cocomelon everywhere, Frozen, those cartoons. There are some toys. I bought so many toys. There's good music. There's a TV for YouTube with Cocomelon. You know, these kids. So that's a friendly environment that can accommodate children. That's why I started that business. But I realized them by studying my kids in the house. When you put Cocomelon on TV, they are calm. But when you're trying to watch news or trying to watch some content or podcast, they go to the socket, they go to the kitchen, they ransack the house. So it was just a study from my own self.
It's called brand psychology. So you played with the brand in terms of psychology, and you are able to figure out that this particular niche hasn't been explored in the region.
Yes.
And it is a niche that is also productive.
Yes.
Essentially with the cash flow and also in support of the business and supporting the other brands that you're having.
Yes.
And how is it so far? Is it something that has been appreciated?
It's been a challenge because when you introduce a new product, Kisumu is not accommodative. Excuse me. Kisumu is not accommodative for new ideologies. It takes them time for it to sink in. So if you're an entrepreneur in another city like Mombasa or Nairobi, when you start something, maybe it already exists or they are really friendly to that idea. But with Kisumu, we can call Jo Kisumu Wigitech, it's really very hard for them to just jump into a new idea. I don't know if you know, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
With Kisumu, it's really, we say it's a really tough environment to be an entrepreneur in Kisumu. In fact, if you're a successful entrepreneur in Kisumu, you can survive anywhere in Kenya.
Interesting.
Yes.
I heard you mention that building a brand or Kisumians accepting a new idea or brand is a challenge.
Yes.
But on the opposite, when you go out there, whenever there's a new joint, a new trend, they jump in very fast.
Yes, I really have the answer. Okay, Kisumu people are people who are proud. They have pride in themselves. They like the best thing. So what usually happens when there's a new joint, everyone will run into that joint. Come there 3 to 6 months later, there's no one there.
Okay.
You don't have repetitive clients. They just go there to showcase, I was the first person here. I know of the new joint. My boyfriend took me to this joint. I took my wife or girlfriend to this joint. My kids have been to this joint. But after some time, that's why very good businesses fail after some time. The new businesses, the new beaches, they've failed because of that.
So interestingly, as part of building business brilliance and looking at it from how I understand it, is that getting repeat clients from Kisumu is a challenge, according to you?
Big challenge.
Where do majority of your clients come from then?
Okay. Every time I start a business, I look at myself. I look at my background. The first thing I studied is the demographic.
Yeah.
Business is just the exchange of money and services or goods. Then I realized, if I want the money, where's the money? Most entrepreneurs, sorry to say, think the money is in Milimani. The money is on the high end and suburb areas. But I realized, okay, if I'm taking photos, do I really want to take photos of the governor, the MCS, these other people? Because these people, there are some people who take photos for free. There's Raila goes to the studio. They just wake up and they have not paid. Their photos is free on the internet. You get it? So I realized also there's that person in Obunga and Nyalenda that has a baby, has a boyfriend, has a husband, and wants to take a photo. Why would I charge them so much premium? So my business, my photography business, is built on cash flow. There's that issue of red card you mentioned, and that issue of value. But when I started that business, I came and realized that there's so much value in cash flow. So if you target these other people, like most studios in Kisumu charge really expensive because of their value, which is okay. But I really charge very affordable because I'm targeting those people in the slums and the middle range areas. When you come and realize in a society, if you have like if I take 50 random people, like the top rich, you'll get like 2 people. Then the middle class, you'll get like 15 people. Then the rest. Yes, you get my point. So I think it's the Nairobi thing. I love Kikuks because the Kikuks have very good. My business model is built on the values and the ideologies of Kikuyus because they focus more on cash flow. They better get little profit, but they get that little profit from 1,000 people. That's how my business has been able to sustain.
Okay, interesting. So now you went ahead and now developed another solution called Chanuka. Is
Motors.
it Chanuka Motors?
Yes.
That's a Chanu with the car.
Yes.
Car for Gari. Tell me about Chanuka Motors.
Chanuka Motors, I had thought about buying a car, but as an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur, for you to just save $1 million or 2 million Kenyan shillings, it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. It's either you get a deposit and take a car. Let's say, for instance, if you want a good Axio, it's around 1.8 million. If you have a deposit to, let's say, 500,000, you'll have a debt of around 1.3 million. But if you're paying it in debt for 2 years, you'll get like you'll pay 1.5 million, 200,000 interest. If you divide that 1.5 million with around 24 months, which is 2 years, you'll be paying every month. That debt will be paying around 68,000 Kenyan shillings. That's very expensive to get it out of your business. It's very expensive. Then I realized sometimes it's the need and the want. I told you earlier. Why do I need this car? That is the first thing. I want this car to take my stuff to the field, shoot a funeral or a wedding, and come back. I move from my house to the studio. Do I want people to say I have the best car? No. Do I want people to say I have the newest number plate? No. Can just a used, good maintained car work for it? Yes. With my 500,000, can I get a good car? Yes. Okay. So I wanted to create that solution from that study that I had. Then when I purchased my first car, I realized, oh my God, I purchased this car and it's working perfectly fine. And I'm able to do my business and there's no one I'm paying every month. I can just invest in my business. Wow. If I can sell this idea to people like me, then it's a business. So that's when I started it. As much as it's still on its infancy stage, it's something I'm really projecting to work around this environment.
But you say Kisumu is a hard nut to crack.
Yes.
Will you crack that? That's the big question, ladies and gentlemen. This is the seed pod. Whether he will crack that or whether he will fail to crack that, we are yet to see. Wickey Bleeze, the CEO and founder and the brain behind Chanuka Photography, Chanuka Motors. He says that he normally starts businesses anaamka tu na ameanza biz, anaamka tu na amefungwa biz. So it's a big challenge for you as an entrepreneur out there who's also looking forward to follow in the steps of Wickey Bleeze. Maybe Wickey, what is the thing that keeps you going?
Family keeps me going. When you wake up and see your kids you want to provide them more than what your parents provided for you. You want a better life. You're envisioning a life with protection, with inheritance, with a good education.
Generational wealth.
For us to start, some of us to start businesses, it was very much hard for us to start business because we started from zero. But there are some people that are very good. They're so far in their careers because there was a step. You remember that book when you were in primary school, the mathematics book? The first step, class 1, and you ask yourself, hey, tutafika huko juu lini class 8? Imagine you stepped all those steps until you went into form 1. So that's how I view business and life in general. Another thing I can say as a parting shot, most people think they must have capital to start a business. A business is simply an idea, not capital. A business is simply an idea, not capital. For instance, you can start a business by just opening a Facebook page. Okay, what are you interested in? Shoes. Open a Facebook page, write it, brand shoes. Then you identify someone who sells shoes. You go to their shop, you tell them, niaje, unauza hii viatu how much? 2,500. Okay, when I bring a client, how much will you pay me? 50 bob per shoe. Sawa. Then you go take photos with your smartphone. Any phone can take photos nowadays. But just look for a good quality phone you can borrow. Take photos of those shoes, put them on your page, then start sharing on your status and your Facebook page. Then when somebody asks you, do you have this shoe in pink? You call the owner of the shop. Uko na in pink, size 42? Yes, iko. Niaje, where do I bring it? Okay, you'll pay the rider 100 shillings. That's a business with 0 input. Most people don't want to start business because they're just lazy, or they're just they just have that mindset, I must have money to start a business. You don't need money to start your business. Just start.
Interesting indeed, because business also is looked upon in 3 ways. Yes. You could be a business owner. You could be an entrepreneur, and you could also just be self-employed. The categories are in 3.
Yes.
So you can choose to be self-employed, just have something that keeps you busy.
Self-employed is hand to mouth. We call it hand to mouth.
Hand to mouth.
Yes.
2, you could be a business owner, of course, with a vision and the vision bearer of the brand that you started.
Yes.
And you could also choose to be an entrepreneur, and that's why we focus more on entrepreneurship and business brilliance, because that gives you room to grow whatever you started into a bigger platform. Okay, now you can be able to scale it. If you started with 100 bob, then after 4, 5 years or 10 years or even 15 years, now it's a 6-figure business. Then that is entrepreneurship. So for Chanuka and for Chanuka Motors, Chanuka Studio, Chanuka Motors, how would they get you? How would they reach you?
Like,
wanakupata wapi?
Okay. Just when you write Chanuka on Facebook or any other, on YouTube, on Google, anywhere, just write Chanuka Studios. All the information will come up to Chanuka Motors.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Any number that they can call?
You can call me on 0727 772649.
Oh, great. Yes. So if they need help with getting a moti or a car, as a young business owner, or as somebody who's just employed and they want an easier option of getting a car, then they can give you a call.
Yes, first of all, a vehicle puts you at a different playing field. If you are doing maybe a small business like let me give my example, taking photos. If a client had a budget of 3,000, when we pull up there with your car, they'll give you like 5,000 because they know at the back of their heads you need fuel. So with a car, it puts you on a different playing field. Exactly.
I get the point.
Yes.
I get the point.
People
So
yes.
we should encourage people to have cars as entrepreneurs.
As an entrepreneur, like
because it boosts the self-image.
Boost the self-image. People can trust with your money. Their money. You don't look like this person. If I give 50,000, can run away.
Wickey, thank you so much for coming to the Seed Pod.
Okay.
And for having time with us. And as we just now wrap it up,
yes,
we would like to wish you the best and also see you grow. Until next time, when maybe we have a sit down like this, to discuss more and to discuss more about the brand mentally and your mental health. How are you able to combine the two? Because we know entrepreneurship can really affect you mentally, and if you're not okay mentally, then it is seen in your business.
Yes,
that's the funny bit with business owners. If you're not okay mentally, then we will see even the structures in your business not functioning. So how are you able to fine-tune your mental space, your mental health, so that it is positive enough, even when there's no business or even when things are hard, to ensure that tomorrow you are able to keep it going?
That's very simple. There's only one secret. Number one, if you want to grow as an entrepreneur, you have to assign roles. You cannot be the social media manager, do everything. For instance, I started as a photographer. But since around 2-3 years, I've never taken photos. I don't take videos. I taught someone and assigned that role to them. I don't deal with my finances. I have an accountant that deals with my finances, and they are able to pay my taxes and file my returns. It's just you just create an ecosystem, and you realize that with creating an ecosystem, you remove all that stress, and your mental is just intact. Yes.
What if there is no business? How do you deal with that?
I told you when you're starting a business and you don't have budget, just a few minutes before, that you engage people that are interested in what you are doing.
Yes.
Those supporters, those friends, hey, manze, wewe ni mnoma bana, hey, ukichora picha ni noma, inafaa tuchore Kalonzo, tumpeleke. Those people. Yes, you just include them. And
that one helps your mental
yes,
space,
yes,
your mental health to be positive, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much. This is the Seed Pod, where we launch, lead, and succeed as we build business brilliance around West Kenya. This is the first of its kind for West Kenya, none other before and probably none after. This is the home to every entrepreneur and business owner in West Kenya. My name is Brian Oruko, and as it is known, I am the CEO and vision bearer for one of the best solutions in logistics and the most reliable and trusted brand when it comes to corporate and family in terms of errands, logistics, last mile delivery, and we are called Direct Errands and Logistics Services. So it has been my pleasure to host Wickey Bleeze. Thank you, Wickey, and till next time, asante sana.
Karibu.
Aya.
Thank you.